Hey guys, what's going on? It's RC Knockout. I am back with another video. Now if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Nolan, and in today's video I have got a brand new RC that I am going to be unboxing for you guys. Now if you saw the title of this video, you'll already know what this RC is. It is an RC that I have had my eye on for quite a while. I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing open and show you guys exactly what I got. Boom! Here's the RC I got right here, guys. This right here is an Arrma Infraction. Now this is the Arrma Infraction version number 2. So I had my eye on this way back when they had the version 1. So this RC came out probably close to a year ago, maybe even over a year. And I had my eye on getting one. I actually was planning on getting one. And then finally when I was going to go pull the trigger on it, I couldn't find them online anywhere. So the dark camo looking one, that was the version 1. That's the one I had my eye on, and unfortunately I couldn't get a hold of it once I finally decided to pull the trigger on it. It was too late. They just didn't have them anywhere. So I waited around, then I find out they came out with the version 2, which I thought was super awesome, and the version 2 has some really cool trick stuff that the version 1 did not. Waited a little bit because I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to pull the trigger on it, but then I finally saw it was in stock, so I went to Horizon Hobby and I bought this. Actually, I think I bought it from Tower Hobby, but regardless, it's all the same. So, if you guys are not familiar with this RC, this right here is an on-road RC. So, this is the very first on-road RC I have ever owned. This is also going to be the fastest ready-to-run RC I have ever bought. Right here, this says 80+ miles per hour. So, 80+ miles per hour, that's way faster than any RC I have ever owned right out of the box. So taking a closer look at this box, there's two different paint schemes that this truck comes in. So if I didn't point out, this right here is kind of a retro style truck. So this, like I said, is the version 2. So it had a version 1. The version 1 had a camo body. So it was like a red, or sorry, not red, it was like a green and brown camo color, which I like the look of that, but I actually like the look of these ones as well. So this is the version 2, so it has the blue, so it's kind of a red, white, and blue theme, but then there's also this color scheme right here that's also an option. So that's gray, but it also has red, white, and blue because it has a flag on the top, on the hood. So both of them are kind of American themed. They have the American flag on the hood. So which one do you guys think I got? Do you think I got the gray one, or do you think I went with the blue one? Go ahead and let me know in the comments before you watch any more of this video. So going over this box a little bit, this right here is a 1/7 scale RC. So it's a pretty big RC, and like I was saying, it's on-road. So it's the first on-road RC that I have ever owned. This thing only has probably about a ½ inch of ground clearance, it looks like, so this isn't going to be going off-road. They actually call it, right here it says all-road street bash. That's what they consider it for, I guess. Now this is a 6S capable ESC, so this truck can run on 6S LiPo. Of course, I did say it is called the Arrma Infraction, and this truck also is 4-wheel drive, if I did not mention that. You guys know who Ken Block is. Ken Block is a professional drifter, and he has a truck on his videos. He has some videos he calls the Jim Kahana videos, which is where he drifts around like in cities and stuff, and it looks super freaking awesome. And he actually has a truck called the Huna truck, and that reminds me of this truck. It's a very similar style. This is a retro looking truck. I think his truck is an old, like, 1970s Ford, like F100 or F150. He has a black paint scheme, but it looks a lot like this, like a lowered Ford truck that's like a drift truck. It's super awesome looking. So that's kind of what inspired me to get this, because I'm such a huge fan of that truck. It looks so cool that that's kind of what the allure was to this truck, for me anyway. I'm not going to focus a ton on the actual box, just because the videos have already been done on this RC. This RC's been out, this version 2, has been out for at least 4, maybe even 5 months at this point. So this is not the first video. I'm actually kind of late to the party because, like I said, I'm 4 months behind, and also this is a very similar truck to the version 1, and there's been videos for probably a year on the version 1. So this is very similar. It just has a few cool trick features that the version 1 does not. So that's why I'm just going to take a quick look at the box, and we're going to go over some of the stuff. So I already showed you guys the two different paint schemes it comes in. I did point out it is a street basher. It's made for on-road. It is 6S capable, and it is 80+ mile per hour capable. Now that's not stock out of the box with the stock pinion. That's with the included optional pinion that this RC comes with. You can go 80+. But I actually watched, I believe it was Innovation RC. So he's a YouTuber. I watched his video, and he has one of these version 2 trucks, and with the high-speed gearing on, the optional gearing, he actually got it over 90. I think 92 miles per hour with the stock gearing, so well over the 80 mile per hour. Now, from my understanding, what I believe he said in that video is that they changed the gear ratio within the differentials. So I think there's some sort of gear reduction or something within the differentials was changed between the version 1 and the version 2. So the version 1 is probably capable of just over 80 miles per hour. This version 2 is actually faster. This version 2, even though it still says 80 plus miles per hour, he proved that it can go over 90 miles per hour with the optional gearing. So this is going to be slightly faster than the version 1. So it shouldn't take that much to get this truck up over 100 miles per hour, which is kind of something I really want to do. Now, like I was saying, it is ready to run. So it has everything needed to run except for the batteries. It has something called the Smart ESC. So the Spectrum has a Smart ESC, and it can basically give you telemetry. It can tell you, your ESC temp, motor temps, how much battery life you have left. I think the battery life is only if you're running their smart batteries, though. Don't quote me on that. It does have AVC, which is basically their gyro feature for Spectrum. So it's Spectrum's AVC, which I believe is called Advanced Vehicle Control. And that's kind of like a gyro, kind of very similar to the Traxxas TSM, which is Traxxas Stability Management. It keeps the car going straight when the thing wants to fishtail in and out. It keeps that thing corrected, basically compensates the wheels back and forth, and keeps that RC going as straight as possible when you're really trying to get that power to the ground, which I can imagine would be very difficult to keep the thing going straight without some sort of, vehicle control or traction control. Going over the outside of this box real quick. Now, the version 1, I'm not sure if the version 1 had this Smart ESC. So this is a Smart ESC in this one. Also, I'm not sure if the motor is exactly the same on the version 1 and the version 2. I believe it is the same kV. I believe this is a 2050 kV motor. I don't know if because of the Smart technology, if the ESC and the motor is different, or if it's just the ESC that's different. So I'm not 100% sure if this is the same motor that's on the version 1. It does have a heatsink. It does have a fan on it, but I think the version 1 had that. Maybe? Maybe not. I could be wrong. But moving on to this feature right here, this is probably the biggest difference between the version 1 and the version 2 is that it has this handbrake feature. So I don't know if this is more of a gimmick or if it actually is something that works, but it basically locks up your rear wheels so you can kind of drift around by locking up the rear wheels. Now, I've already heard this thing's pretty easy to kick the rear end out regardless, just by giving it throttle. So I don't know how useful this thing's actually going to come in. One of the other things, it has these bearings right here. I believe this is new for the version 2. Has these bearings that run up along the side and underneath the center drive shaft to help keep the center drive shaft spinning as balanced as possible. That's the bottom of the RC. I don't really think there's anything else to show you guys on the outside. So let's go ahead and actually get this RC out of the box. Looks like I'm going to have to cut it open. Get this cut open. One side. And it looks like I've got to cut it right here as well. And there we go. Let me lift the lid off of this, guys. Here's the reveal right now. Oh, there's also some features it shows also on this part of the box. I'll go over that once I get the RC out, because I know the RC is what you guys want to see. So, what color did I get, guys? Ready? Ready for the reveal? Looks like this thing's zip tied on, too. Okay, so the whole thing's going to come out. Boom. That's the color I got right there, guys. I got the gray paint scheme, and I just thought it looked super dope. Don't get me wrong, I like the blue paint scheme as well, but the biggest thing was the way that the flag popped out more. The flag graphic popped out a ton more on the gray body. With the blue body, it kind of just, the blue flag kind of just blended in. So I just thought this kind of looked cooler. I don't think I would have been disappointed with either, though. So I think there's some zip ties holding this. So I'm going to get the zip ties cut off, underneath. And I'm going to pull this plastic wrap or cellophane off. And then we'll get a better look at this truck real quick. Got the zip ties taken off. Let's go ahead and take the cellophane, the plastic wrap off. I want to do this on the camera, guys, so you guys can see it, because this is always the best part. Moment of truth. Check that out, guys. Check that RC out. Now, it's like a matte gray color. I'm just trying to look over it. I'm just trying to go over it as you guys are seeing it. Really cool. I really like this Arrma Motorworks, that styling with the writing. It has a bunch of Arrma stickers on it, of course. I did think it was kind of weird that the wing that comes on this is not painted. Now, you can actually cut this wing down depending on, you know, whether you want more downforce or if you want it to cut through the wind better and get a higher top speed. But I do think it's kind of weird that it's not painted. But anyway, so we'll see. I might keep that like that, or I might cut a little bit out. We will see. Don't know if there's really anything else to show on the body. Now it has these Hoons, these D-boot Hoon wheels and tires, and they are very, 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 very stiff, I can tell you. Like, they feel like, I don't know, I assume there's foams in this. I'm assuming these are belted, but it doesn't feel like there's hardly any foam in it. When I'm feeling this tire, there's hardly any give. You can tell there's a lot of rubber there. I think what we're going to do now, guys, is I'm just going to go ahead and take the body off. Now, a cool thing that Arrma has is Arrma has these little clips right here, which I think are cool that they have these little clips, but the thing I've noticed, at least on my Arrma EXP, my Arrma Kraton EXP, is that these don't hold very well. So they end up ripping. So they're kind of cool, like, idea, but for actual function, at least from what I've noticed, they break. So they need to have thicker straps, that's the thing. If they had thicker straps, this would be a lot better. So let's go ahead and get the body off. Super nice looking body. The front. Here's supposed to be like the air intakes. I assume that's supposed to be air intakes. Kind of the aggressive front end. Has like this front lip spoiler. Just super dope looking. And then of course inside it says, "Don't just bash, blast." That's kind of Arrma's slogan, I guess. But I will go ahead, set the body aside, and we will take a closer look at the vehicle. And you know what, real quick, let me move the vehicle aside, because I want to show you guys the rest of what's on the box real quick. So basically all road, all conditions, so loose gravel, asphalt, short grass it claims. I doubt any of the grass around here I'll be able to make it through unless I'm driving on a golf course. I don't think this thing's going to have, number one, any traction because the wheels on this have like hardly any tread. But I imagine I won't be able to go through grass at all. Claims ice, rain, sun. So that's just all the weather conditions and the kind of the elements and the conditions you can drive in. I'll probably be just using it on parking lots and, you know, kind of asphalt. It would be kind of cool to drift this around in the rain or the snow. That'd be pretty cool, but it'd have to be just a dust in the snow. Otherwise, this thing would get stuck, no doubt. Now, it does have Spectrum's controller. Now, I've had an issue with Spectrum controllers in the past. I've had issues with them not having the greatest range. And on top of that, for the longest time, even when I bought my Low C5T, which is a Horizon product, my Low C5T came with a super cheap, I think it was called a DX, what was it, DX2C or something? It was the cheapest looking transmitter, and the thing that made it feel the worst was it had a plastic wheel on it. Plastic. Like, it felt so cheap. So I'm glad with this RC that they actually have a foam wheel on it. This is the controller, so I'll have to get that out, and we'll have to take a closer look at that. Alright, of course, we got the Arrma owner's manual. We got a nice toolkit, nice wheel wrench, I like that. Looks like we have some extra body posts, it looks like. And here is the controller. And it looks like that's all that's in there. So, let me grab the controller out. We'll take a quick look at that. And here we go, guys. So, much nicer design, I'd have to say, than previous ready-to-run controllers that Spectrum has given. Because, like I said, the last ready-to-run Spectrum transmitter I had a plastic wheel, which just felt cheap. This feels a lot nicer. I'll be able to drive this one-handed a lot easier just by the way that's set up. Looks like this, I assume, is going to be the button probably to use the handbrake. Looks like there's a bind button. Here's a button to control your, let's see, steering rate. That's nice. Or I guess, oh, that's your AVC rate. So how much the AVC, because I think you can adjust the AVC all the way from off all the way to like full, so the thing's really kind of controlling itself. The brake rate, that's kind of cool, that's right on the controller. And then of course your typical steering trim and your throttle trim. And it looks like you have the reverses for the throttle and the steering right on there. And you have the switches, looks like for the throttle limit. So I guess if you want to go to like train at 50%, 75%, 100%. And here's the battery level gauge. Now I believe I have to have smart batteries in order for this to actually work. I don't think it comes down to just the ESC. I'll have to look into the manual, but I believe I'll still need to get some smart batteries. And that's the thing, I don't have batteries for this RC yet, guys. So I'm still trying to debate whether or not I want to go with the smart ESC batteries, or the smart technology batteries, I should say, or if I want to go with some cheaper ones, because I think you can use the EC, is the EC5? I think it's called the EC5 plugs, whatever the blue plugs that Spectrum or Horizon had on a lot of their products. I think it's called the EC5. But I kind of want to use these smart ones, but I'm just worried they're going to be so much more expensive. But we're going to have to see. So I still have to get some batteries for it, so I'm not going to be able to run it for a little bit until I get a hold of some batteries. But we looked at the controller. Sure, it doesn't have any batteries with it. Of course not. We'll set that aside. And it actually feels like it has some weight to it too. So it doesn't feel like super cheap. I like the way that it just feels in the hand. It feels good. Yeah, I like that. So set that aside. And now we're going to actually take a close look at the RC. So I decided to grab the camera so you guys can get a much closer look at this RC. So first, starting off with these cool 5-spoke D-boot wheels and tires. So they feel very, very hard. I was saying before when I was feeling them, they don't feel like they have hardly any foam in them. I assume they have foam in them, but it feels like it's basically all rubber. So those should be able to hold up to some pretty high speeds, but they have hardly any tread on them. Just the tiniest bit of tread. But look at this machine. There's 2 battery box trays, so one on either side. And it just has straps so you can hold it down. So I can use 2 3S packs. It also has a jumper lead right here on the ESC. So then I can just run 1 6S pack, which I doubt I'll be running a 6S pack. I'll probably just run 2 3S packs. I know a lot of people switch this ESC out and they go to 8S too, but I don't know if I want to go to 8S. This thing should be plenty fast on 6S. Now it does have sway bars on the front as well as on the rear. You guys can see kind of out of the shock tower. Everything's super low profile. Has these super cool big bore shocks, which this doesn't have the biggest amount of travel. I mean, it has like 3/4 of an inch of travel. Everything's kind of just compact in there. Here is that handbrake feature I was talking about. So this right here, this S650 Spectrum servo, that basically pulls on a little lever that then tightens like a caliper around this little brake rotor. There's a little brake rotor right down in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. When I push the RC, you guys can kind of see it. That's what actually locks up your rear end. And there's just your stock 15 kilogram steering servo, which it's kind of weird that that's how big a servo it is for the steering, but since this is an on-road vehicle, I guess the wheels should steer pretty easily, I would assume. So this has a nice brace that runs all the way from the rear to the front, just kind of like on the Arrma Kraton. A lot of the Arrma vehicles have that. It does have, it looks like, some front and rear chassis braces that are, those just look to be plastic though, that just help, because this is a metal chassis, guys. I think it's a 6061 metal chassis. You guys can see how smooth and streamlined the bottom of it is. It has like this cool lip on the front. Just everything looks so streamlined. It even has like these little channels right here that I assume do something aerodynamic. And it has this really cool diffuser on the back. That might be the coolest part of the whole car, is this super dope diffuser that it has at the rear. I was saying it has these little bearings right here. So I don't know if you guys can see, but it has these bearings that run along the side and underneath of the center drive shaft, I assume, to keep it running as smooth as possible and as balanced as possible, because otherwise there might be play in it. So that's what that's for. Everything in the drivetrain, everything is metal, so we have steel drive shafts. All the gears within the differentials are steel. And the thing I was saying about the gears is that Innovation RC proved that this will actually go about 10 miles per hour faster, it looks like, than the version 1. Because they changed the gear ratio within, I believe, the front and rear diff. I'm not sure if they changed it in the center, because this has 3 differentials. It has a front, a rear, and a center. And I'm assuming they're all open, but I don't know for sure. Maybe they're limited slip. Not sure. Here's our 2050, I believe. It's a 2050 kV motor. Is it? Yes. It is a 2050 kV. It has a nice heat sink with a motor fan on it, so that's kind of cool. Has this little foam piece, kind of like as a bumper, a little bit of an impact zone, I suppose. If you run into something going like 80 miles per hour, though, I don't know how much that's going to save you. And that smart ESC that I was talking about, kind of cool. The design that it has on the top, that looks kind of dope. Receiver sits in here. And I don't know if there's really anything else to show, guys. Let me throw the body back on. We'll take one quick look at it with the body on, and then I will see you guys hopefully in a running video with this thing. Alright guys, so here it is now with the body back on. Super dope looking RC, guys. If you like this video and you want to see future videos with this RC, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel because there will be a running video with this RC. The main reason I bought it isn't even really for the speed. I bought it more for like the drifting around parking lots. Maybe setting up some cones, doing some courses. That looks like a ton of fun to me. So look forward to doing that. Now this does have the stock gearing, and we're going to do a top speed run with the stock gearing. It doesn't actually say on the box, I don't think, what the top speed should be with the stock gearing, but I imagine if it's 80 plus, it should go 60 plus with the stock gearing. Maybe 65, 70. Still, with the stock gearing, this should be the fastest RC I've ever owned. So anyway, guys, hopefully you like this unboxing. I look forward to seeing you guys in another video. Later.